In this video, we're going to take a look at the bridge tool. The bridge tool is useful for making connections between open edges on the same surface. Therefore, we cannot connect those open edges if we have multiple surfaces. It all must be on the same surface. To explore our bridge tool, we're going to build an iron fence. To start, select the post that I already have here, and we're going to duplicate that. I'm going to choose Edit, Duplicate Special, and I'm going to duplicate this with a negative value in the X, and we'll choose Duplicate Special, and then I'm going to translate this off here, and we'll move it out 48 units. And now this gives us two different posts, and if you notice, on my post here, let's go and shaded with wireframe. I have open faces on the inside of my polygon post. So now I've duplicated this one over. I'm going to freeze its transforms, which will get rid of that negative value that I had on there. We don't like to have that. And now I need to run the bridge across here, and we can start building bars to go in between. Before we can use the bridge successfully, I have to combine these two objects together. So I'll select them both, choose Mesh, and we'll choose Combine. Now, both of these objects are one node. And again, I'm going to go and clean this up a little bit. I want to delete my history. So I'll choose Edit, Delete by Type, History. And we have one node here, even though it looks like we have two separate objects. If I look in my hypergraph, that's all we got. We just have the left post there, which we know is both of those posts now put together. So now I can successfully bridge between these two polygon objects, even though they're all one object. And we'll start with the top. So I'm going to right click, go to Edge, and I will select that loop there. And we need the loop on the other post as well. I'll just go and double click, holding Shift at the same time to make sure that I keep my previous selection. And now we'll add our bridge. I'm going to go to Edit Mesh, Bridge. I'm going to go to the tool options and just reset those settings just to make sure that I'm using my defaults. And we'll choose Bridge. And that runs a nice polygon bridge using the same components that were already there to complete that bridge. Now that's important to note. We need to have the same number of edges to bridge from one side to the other. So I cannot have 4 edges selected over here and 6 edges selected over here. They must be the same. And Maya will let you know. It'll tell you that you don't have the right amount of edges if you do make a bad selection. Let's bridge the next one. And I'll go to Edges, double click to get that loop, double click for that loop. And we'll go to Edit Mesh. And again, I'm going to open those tool options. This time, I'm going to change my divisions to 48. But now when I go and try to type that, all I get is 4. I can't complete it. Maya kind of caps out inside of our option window here. 48 is my target, but let's go ahead and leave that just at 5. We'll choose the bridge. And now in the channel box, we can see that in our construction history node, we have the same attribute there. And so instead of 5, I'm going to type in 48, and notice that 48 goes in here in the channel box, whereas in the tool options, it does not work. So we'll just hit Enter. And now I get 48 divisions across the entire bridge. Now you're probably also noticing that my shader has disappeared. This is just kind of a bug that we get, that the shader is not being assigned properly to the new geometry. It's a pretty simple fix. We could actually just continue and I think we will, we can continue on, and those new faces that are part of the bridge will eventually catch up and get assigned to the right shader. But let's continue. We'll see if that happens, and if not, we'll go ahead and apply a different shader to fix the problem. I'm going to come down to the bottom, and we want to do the same exact thing. I'll select both edge loops. Let's apply our bridge, and I'll go into my channel box and type in 48. And right before I do that, though, take a look. The shader was now assigned successfully when I added the new bridge. Now, when we change our divisions here, we'll probably lose the shader on the bottom, but we'll take a look. There we go. Now I lost the shader there, gained it there. So like I said, you can just continue to work if it's not so bothersome, and that shader eventually pops back on. If it is extremely bothersome, we can select the object, right-click on the surface, and just go down and choose Assign Existing Material, and we can just throw our basic Lambert shader back onto it. Now, as you go and you add another bridge, you'll probably lose the shader again. You get the hang of it. It's just kind of the same process over and over there. So let's take a look. We want to add some extra bars going down here to make our iron fence look like an actual fence. And we'll start with the first bar. We're just going to keep that as the default. And I'm going to select one face there and its opposite face on the other side. And I'll choose Delete to delete those faces. And let's go to Edge, double click, and double click to select those two borders. And we'll add a bridge. Let's continue on. Let's add something a bit more unique as we go here. Going to select that face and that face. And grab that one and delete both of those. And we'll switch to Edge, double click, double click. And now we'll do a bridge, but this time, let's change some of our options. So I'm going to go back to Edit Mesh, Bridge, and open the tool options. And I'm going to choose Smooth Path. Now we can do all of these changes after the fact, but I just want to kind of show you here that this is the bridge type, and you'll see where this shows up in the channel box and the attribute editor. So I'm going to choose Smooth Path. I'll leave all of this stuff here alone, and we'll choose Bridge. Now, I don't really see too many differences by choosing that Smooth Path type, but you can see that the edge division is different than that first default one. And this is because of that curve type. And you can see here in the channel box, I can switch and I could go back. I can set it to linear, or we can set it to blend here. And that's why our spacing is a little bit different, because we're actually blending in between here. Let's go into our attribute editor. And again, there's the curve type. There's our blend. There's our divisions. We wanted to add more. We could do so right there. I'm going to leave that just set to 5 for right now. And go down to where I have twist. With the twist value, we can take our geometry and actually give it an extra little twist. And I'm going to type in 720. I get kind of a spiral look to my geometry. Now, it doesn't look so good right now. We need to add some extra divisions in order to make that look better. And I'm going to select that and type in 20. And now I get a nice spiral going down through my bridge. And let's go to object mode, and let's turn that wireframe on shaded off for a second. And now we can see we get that spiral there, but the normals are hardened as they go down, and we want it to be nice and soft. We can change that in our bridge. I will select it, and I'll click that in my channel box. And we have an attribute here for the smoothing angle, and I can click on that, middle mouse, and drag to increase the smoothness that we have there on that twist. Now, that's not exactly what we're looking for either, so I'm going to undo that. And I'm going to take all of those faces there, and I'll do a softened edge on all of it, but then go back and select the spiral that's actually going down the length of the geometry there, and let's harden that. Now we get a nice looking spiral. Let's repeat that here real quick. We want to select our edge loops, our borders, our open borders, and we'll apply our bridge, and we'll just do it straight right through here. We want a blend type there. If we don't have that blend, we cannot do our taper. Notice I switched to linear. Twist and taper disappear there. Those options go away. So we do our blend, and we'll add 20 divisions and a 720 twist. And I could go ahead and add a higher smoothing angle. That'll save me a little bit of a step here by adding that 60. And actually, we already have both of those edges there. Our spiral edges are already hardened, so that one works out for us really well there.